If you're planning on applying to college or going to some academic program like law school or medical school or even a PhD program, then there's a high chance that these programs and admissions offices are going to ask you to write a personal statement. And a personal statement is basically an essay that's a blank slate that gives you the opportunity to let the admissions offices know who you are, why you want to attend the program, and sometimes they have prompts that will guide you and ask specific things of you, like tell me about a time that you faced a challenge, or where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years? But most of the time, the option for personal statements is wide open. Admissions offices don't tell you what to write about, they just say that you have 2 or maybe 3 pages double spaced to write whatever it is that you want to inform them about who you are as a person. And personal statements are really important precisely because of what I just said, which is that they are a blank slate. They're one of the only pieces of the application process, no matter what program you're applying to, that is going to differ wildly from applicant to applicant. And as such, you need to take it really seriously, so let's dive into exactly what makes a great personal statement and how to write one. First, as a general principle, it's important that when you write a personal statement, you're telling a story. Your personal statement should not be a recital of your resume or various things you did, or just telling a story of like one work experience for like an entire page and a half. Instead, what you want to do is weave together your experiences in your life with a narrative of why you want to attend the program and why it's a good fit for your interests and future career plans. But it should read like a story. A good way to do this is by starting the introductory paragraph with an experience cutting right in the middle of a scene. For example, it was 3 hours after the car accident and my heart was pounding. And then you build on that scene a little bit and slowly transition into why that experience ties into perhaps your background or your professional experience, which then in turn ties into why you think that you are a great fit for the program to which you are applying. What you want to avoid is having a personal statement feel like a cover letter. You don't want it to be bland and so to the point that the reader is just going to get bored after the first like 10 seconds of reading. And oftentimes when applicants start out by just saying, I want to go to law school and this is why, that's exactly how the reader on the other side is left feeling. They're uninspired, they're not engaged, and if they're not inspired and they're not engaged, it's less likely they're going to remember you in the stack of, 1,000+ essays that they're going to be reviewing in the matter of like months. So when you write your essay and you're reviewing it, make sure that it reads like a story. And make sure that it has the elements of a story, like a hook, like transitions in between paragraphs, and a really solid conclusion that wraps up in really punchy words why you are a great fit for the program that you want to be admitted to. Now, back in my day, we didn't have AI like ChatGPT to help create beautiful prose for us on a whim. We had to write all of these things out ourselves. And I understand that now there is a strong appeal to obviously use platforms like ChatGPT to come up with beautifully well-written personal statements. You might be wondering, is it okay if I just have the AI write it for me and make sure that it checks all the boxes and then move on? And my response is a couple of things. First of all, you gotta remember that everybody else out there is thinking the same thing that you're thinking. And these AI programs, despite their really good ability to write really well-written essays, they still sound pretty robotic. And I understand that you can tell them, make it more casual, or here, I'm gonna upload like 50 of my articles that I've written. Can you analyze these and then give it to me in that same voice? I know it can get pretty close, and I know it's pretty good, but at the end of the day, the admissions officers are going to know that some of these essays are written by AI and some are not. And the way that you're gonna have to stand out as an applicant is by proving to them that you're one of the people that actually wrote their essays and that it was not AI generated. So I'm not saying to not use AI, like you should 100% feel free to leverage it as a tool, not just with your personal statement writing, but in your research and your learning processes, pretty much in every capacity possible, because I think AI is basically the next Google. The people who are learning how to use it now are gonna be exponentially farther ahead than the people who are choosing to ignore it. But when it comes to writing a personal statement, I think you should only use it on the edges. For example, have it come up with a certain type of hook for you and give you various options, or, rewrite a paragraph so that you have a more diverse type of sentence structure. But I really wouldn't use it blindly. And that's because, like I said before, it's gonna feel robotic and admissions officers are gonna be able to tell. And what you want is the opposite of robotic. You want your personal statement to feel human and raw, and you want it to inspire the reader on the other side. And on that note, what you want to make sure you're doing in your essay, besides just telling a story and weaving in your work experiences, is you want to go deep. you want to really uncover why you want to attend this program. It's not enough just to say, I got good grades and I want to be successful, and so that's why I want to go to law school or to med school. You need to dive into why law school or why med school or why that PhD program specifically. And this means not just asking why one time, but I would recommend doing it up to 3 to 5 times in the course of your paper to get deeper and deeper and deeper into your inner motivations, because that's the type of thing that's going to stand out to admissions. For example, for me, going to law school and my admissions essay, I wrote about why I wanted to work in the policy sector of government because it would help me advocate for consumers. So the first layer of why law school is, well, because I want to be a lawyer. The second layer of why do I want to become a lawyer is because being a lawyer will help me advocate for these people in need. And the third layer is, why do I want to help these people in need? Well, because I saw firsthand during the Great Recession how people, through no fault of their own, got completely destroyed by the financial crisis, and that just didn't sit right with me morally. I want to be part of the process to fix that. And you get the exercise. You can ask why again and again and again, but the important thing is that in your essay, somebody reading it is going to have a clear vision of what motivates you and the inner workings of your mind and your soul, so be it, if you can go that deep. I know this sounds like a lot for a personal statement, but trust me, these are the things that are going to make your essay stand out relative to all the people out there, and there's going to be tons of them. I would guess like 80+% of people who write their essays, they're just going to go in and say, here's the work experience I did, and I want to go to this school because I think it'll make me successful, or it'll help me become a lawyer, and it would be an honor. And then they'll like have ChatGPT run that through like 3 different versions, and then they're just going to hit submit on the second version and call it a day. If you really want your essay to stand out though, you got to put in the work, and that requires diving deep into your inner motivations, which might be tough. It might take you some hours of sitting there and just like really processing, why do you want to do this? It'll take some self-reflection, but ultimately it's worth it, and it's really the only way to come up with a true essay that represents who you are and what you stand for. And when you think about balancing your work experiences and the sort of fluff in your essay from the deep analysis of the why behind your motivations, you might be wondering like how much of each of these should go into the paper. I'd recommend aiming for 50-50. So 50%, it's okay to start telling a story about, you know, I worked in this immigration clinic and then this person came up and they asked me about if they were going to be able to stay in the United States and if their kid would be able to stay in the school. And then I respond, and you can just see how like that type of story can go on for lines and lines and lines, and it's really nice to fill up the paper, but it's not conveying who you are and your motivations. So 50% to the fluff and the storytelling, and then 50% to the, you know, seeing this immigrant family struggle with the legal system motivated me to work in the Justice Department down the line because I want to be part of the process that helps these people acclimate to the United States, etc., etc., etc. You get where I'm going. 50-50 is a good rule of thumb. Now, to give you a hands-on vision of what I'm talking about here, I'm going to review live a personal statement written by a member of our Discord community. By the way, if you want to join the Discord, pre-law career mental health talk, it's down in the caption. I'm going to review it live here. I'm going to speak openly about my thoughts about it while I edit it and revise it, and hopefully this will give you some insight and more actionable advice and tips for writing the best personal statement possible. By the way, real quick, shameless plug, I do have a written guide. It's $5 for how to write the best personal statement possible, where I dive much deeper into all of the various nuances and topics of how to write the perfect essay to get you into your dream program. So let's go review this essay. Okay, thank you to the community member who is letting us edit/roast. No, I'm just kidding. Mostly edit their personal statement. I hope you guys find this helpful, and this is just going to be raw off-the-cuff reactions and edits, and will hopefully give you some insight into the way that I go about writing these and revising them. Law is the structure of modern-day society, is the foundation of the working life, encircling individuals in a protective layer of legal justice. I don't think you need that word there. That feels duplicative. This is my interpretation after witnessing court hearings, practicing mock trials, and reading about various cases and the law. Okay. My principles and hope for my career is to help those who struggle find a resolution for their lives to be improved, improve their lives. Find a resolution. Improve their lives. And serve justice. Resolution to improve and serve justice those who deserve it by fighting for them in the legal system, broadly. I would say that that's better than court. There's a lot of areas of the law that are not court. Studying law at University of your practical broadening committee enact positive change in society. Okay, see, this I think needs to be bigger. Given the law's underlying impact on citizens' livelihood and well-being, I believe that studying law at university would be a practical way to positive change society. Okay, cool. I'm probably going to come back and make more edits to this top paragraph, but the first round I like to mainly look for like syntax and like word changes rather than like big thematic changes. Through 8 levels, I've refined 4 key skills necessary to succeed in a law degree. These are blah, blah, blah. Okay, studying history is long to develop critical thinking by experience. It's part of the event. All right, so we're describing why I'm a good fit for this interest. So I did all these things. Wow, this is not capitalized. What's going on here? I submitted an essay for a national competition. Modern day atrocity. I think this is an accident, such as the war in Ukraine. Exploring the similar crimes against humanity. Exploring the similar crimes against humanity that exist in different contexts. Give that some more flow to it. Critical thinking paired with analytical skills allow me to evaluate the significance of events. Allow me to compose compelling arguments. Okay, that's interesting. I'm not really sure how that fits. I'm going to come back to that. Politics has enhanced my analytical skills. Scrutinize how these things... I like how they talked about their experiences, what they did in mock trial. Okay, so they're talking about all the skills they gained from their experiences. That's good. Communication skills are also a strength of mine. Public presentations. Okay. Right. Coach a jiu-jitsu teammate in British national competitions. Deliver presentations to my school. Okay. A lot of experiences in public speaking. My initial interest in law lies in criminal law, rooted in the fascination with murder trials. Okay, this is a big pivot. Big pivot. This was all about why their experiences lend themselves to the skills needed in law, but now we're pivoting pretty big and talking about their interest in law itself, specifically criminal. Not sure how I feel about this so far, given that most of the rest of the paper dealt with law generally, so to come into criminal so abruptly feels a little off-putting, but let's see what they do here. This intrigue stimulated me to explore a wider range of law consisting of corruption, corporate, and EU law. Books have demonstrated my commitment to a broad range of practicing law, a significant overlooked issue. Reading this exposed me to the abuse of state power. Okay, so they learned about how the law impacts things. This allowed me to identify implications that collide with the law due to several arbitrary dictatorships of the past which have terrorized innocent people. Shouting a solicitor for we increased my initiative for cooperation with handling clients, giving me invaluable insight into how law firm works. This encouraged me to do a MOOC. So this is all... Okay, this is interesting. I feel like this is almost a restatement of this other paragraph here, because we're, again, just talking about experiences. But what I'm not really seeing is the why. You know, we touched on the why a little bit up here. You know, the law is the foundation of working life, encircling individuals. But now it's more like, you know, here are things that I did that are related to law, and I want to go to law school. So please let me in. Please clap. I'm not super thrilled on it so far, but let's see, because there's a lot of good substance here. It's just about building the why out further. Topics such as are a great intrigue to me. I'm a great candidate because I had to vote I am to either the subject. I'm exemplified just through an inquisitive what? I exemplified this through being persuasive, logical, and inquisitive. Being, right, that's the word. I value law because I prioritize helping vulnerable, exploited people. I want to create a drastic change in society. A lot of good help to try to achieve this. Okay. Overall, I would give this like a 6 out of 10. So I think it's like decently written, and there's a lot of really good context for why this candidate is interested in law long term. The thing that it's missing, and that I'm going to try to build in pieces and chunks here, as well as leave comments because I don't want to do all the work for them, is understanding the why behind their passion for the law itself, rather than their rote discussion, of the things they did that are related to law. So for example, let's go with this paragraph. There's a lot of this can be cut. My initial interest lies in criminal law, rooted in my fascination with murder trials. Perhaps this is where we can build in the why, right? There's no greater import of the legal system than how it deals with the ultimate crime of taking another's life. This intrigue stimulated me to explore a wider range of law consisting of corruption, corporate, and EU law, as well as books like, and we're just going to include these books here because I just don't think we need to go in that in depth about each of these books. Like, in general, I don't really like even referencing books specifically, because it almost sounds superficial. I hate to use that word because obviously it's not. Like, that this is where inspiration comes from. Sometimes is like reading books and then getting a different perspective. But frankly, like when you say, "Oh, I read this book and then I liked it," it just feels less compelling to a reader than I have a burning soul that is built for the law and it's the thing that gets me up every morning, which is, to be clear, the exact sort of story you want to be selling in these essays. So, as well as books like Politics of the Judiciary, and The Handmaid's Tale. That's it. You don't need to go further. You can reference them, and that's it. Period. Okay. I think we should do a new paragraph here. You know what? Maybe not. That's too short for a paragraph. You want paragraphs to be decent sized and personal statements. This allowed me to identify how political and historical implications collide with law due to several arbitrary dictatorships, due to the arbitrary distribution of power. Due to the arbitrary distribution of power, often resulting in the suffering of innocence. This is maybe stylistic, but I just think that sounds better and it's more broadly applicable. Shadowing a solicitor. My passion for law was further cultivated. Again, why? Bringing back the why. When I shadowed not a dictator. Wow, that would be funny. Shadowing a dictator. Who would have thought? When I shadowed a solicitor for a week. And I don't think we need to talk about the skills gained there, because frankly, schools know that the skills that you're going to be gained are limited. And we're going to say, which gave me, solicitor freak, which gave me valuable insight. Gave me valuable insight into how a law firm works. Notice here how I'm staying focused, guys, on why law, you know? We can mention other things, but it has to tie back to, like, why law? Why law? And law in general. Mainly because this paper, I think, focused at a big picture level on why law in general. It doesn't need to be that general, and certainly other essays may not be, but this one is. This encouraged me. I then see this I don't like the passivity of this thing led to me doing this. Instead, we're going to say I deepened my practical exposure to the legal field by participating in, you know, in MOOC on the international criminal justice system. That makes it sound, see, look, the difference here is subtle, but this encouraged me sounds passive. It sounds like I'm existing and then this happened and then that just made me do this other thing. Whereas if I say I deepened my practical exposure to the legal field by then doing this, it sounds so much more like you took the initiative. And like that, you know, that fighting spirit and that burning passion is the thing that led me to do it. And that's what applicants or admissions offices rather, that's what they want. The MOOC enabled me to expand my, I don't think you need to say enabled me. I think you can just say expanded my knowledge on international law by teaching me about future case functions within the international courts. I don't think we need the sentence at all. It just doesn't add anything in my opinion, so I'm just gonna kill it. Underlying, and then let's do the why again, right? Underlying all of these experiences was the great responsibility that I saw lawyers facing. The prospect of a client's case or the meeting out of justice in the international courtroom. There has been nothing more exciting. Great word to use, because you want to be excited. They want the positive energy. There's been nothing more exciting that I've done there's been nothing more exciting that I've done in my life than working in the legal field and witnessing the greatness that is the power of the legal profession. Okay, right? We want to talk about why law itself. So this paragraph, I think, is a lot better now. So we cut out a lot of this fat, which is just kind of like, you know, this thing taught me this thing taught me this. We condensed a lot of that. We built out the why. We talked about the passion for law a little bit more. Let's now go back to this paragraph. We're going to revise this, and I think we're going to be close to being done here. Through A levels, I don't know what that is. What is this? You do not want your reader to be confused, because if they're confused, the message just doesn't land. They're not going to use it against you, but they're just not going to resonate with it, and that's bad. I have refined 4 key skills necessary to succeed in a law degree. Critical thinking, these are these skills. Okay, studying history. Furthermore, transition words are important. Furthermore, studying history has allowed me to develop critical thinking, different interpretation of an event, and grant me historical context into why the systems of governance have been built the way they are today. To further this interest, I did something. The war in Ukraine. I just don't think this is necessary. I don't think we need that. It just doesn't speak to me. It doesn't add anything to the greater message, in my opinion. It just kind of is a way to say that I did the essay. I don't think, remember, right? Essays are not supposed to be recitations of your resume. They should only include things when it really makes sense to tell the bigger story. Critical thinking paired with analytical skills allow me to value the significance and link them to their origin, allowing me to compose compelling arguments. I don't like this either. I don't think that it says anything that these sentences right up here did not say, so I'm just going to strike it. Politics has enhanced my analytical skills. Studying and working in politics has enhanced my analytical skills, strengths, and faults. This is applicable to law as strong arguments win cases. Okay, so this is a little clunky. First, I want to talk a little bit about the why here. All of these reforms are of great import given their impact on the citizenry of the US and UK. A continual reminder of the law's importance. Okay. This is applicable to law as strong arguments win cases. I see what they're trying to do here by like saying, look, I have all these skills and these skills will be helpful to me in being a lawyer, but they don't need to know that. Like, they know what makes a good lawyer, right? Obviously, they're admitting people to become lawyers. So I don't think we need to state that rule. We should just demonstrate without reminding them. In debating society at school, I practice strengthening my arguments. All these reforms are, of course, law is built on reason and disciplined debate. Okay. As such, in debating, you see how I'm trying to tie sentences together with these transition clauses? It makes it flow a lot better. As such, in debating society at school, I practiced strengthening my arguments persuasively by staging mock trials, which have drastically developed my understanding as to how court cases work. That's okay, that's good. I like that. English literature and practicing law require critical thinking where excess text is buried over a small amount of vital information. Not a fan of that. I don't think we need to remind them that we're good at reading, but let's see. Separating crucial information from excess text has made me more analytical faced with literature, allowing me to understand the nuanced interpretation of the writer more closely. These skills directly relate to the practice of law, which often requires reading and distilling dense statutes or sets of facts on behalf of clients. Okay, I'll let it slide with that sentence added so it gives us some context. Communication skills are also strength of mind. I don't think we need to do that. It's kind of implied by saying that we did mock trials. I currently mentor students. Additionally, let's do a transition here. Additionally, with 2 I's, because we're special, I currently mentor students academically online in French history, coach a jiu-jitsu team, deliver presentations to my school. This is, all of these efforts have consolidated my confidence in public speaking, readying myself for representing clients in the courtroom. Okay, a lot better. Yeah, I will say, listing these things out kind of out of left field, I'm not a huge fan, but I think it works. It works enough. All right, I'll say that much. So this already reads a lot better. You know, I think it gets a lot deeper into the why law, and it reminds the person on the other side that in addition to having all of these experiences, the writer feels strongly that these experiences and skills directly relate to the practice of law, which is why they're mentioning them. That's important, and it avoids the pitfalls of just reciting things and reciting experiences. Let's look at the last paragraph real quick. I'm a great candidate. So I would say, in conclusion, I'm a great candidate for law degrees, how devoted and eager I am to explore the subject. I've exemplified this through being persuasive, logical, and inquisitive. Okay, I'm gonna change that. I'm not a big fan of just saying I am this. I think we should show, not tell. So we should say, out of order, I am to explore the subject, something I've demonstrated consistently through my work and professional experiences. I value law because I prioritize helping vulnerable and exploited people. I want to create a drastic change in society. A lot of good help ensure I can achieve this. Okay, so I'm going to comment here, and I'm going to tell this person that I want to see more of this theme throughout the essay. More of this theme in the essay will help tie it in. Because if it's just added in at the last second, people don't really buy it, you know? Like, frankly, if I'm reading this, I read all these things about why the person is experienced, but then I get to here, and then they say, oh, well, I value law because I prioritize helping vulnerable and exploited people. I'm like, well, where was that discussion? Where was the talk about vulnerable and exploited people? I saw it here, and I saw it up here, implicitly, you know, encircling individuals' protective layer of justice, right? Implicitly. So I think that should be built out. I want to create a drastic change in society. Okay, like what? Again, build this out or discuss above, or cut it. We don't want to just say platitudes, we want to back them up throughout the paper. Otherwise, we leave it out. And a law degree to help best ensure I can achieve this. It would be, I love ending with this sentence, it would be an honor and a privilege to earn a law degree from blah, 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 blah. Harvard Law School, Oxford, wherever. Okay, I'm going to send this back to our fellow community member. I hope this was helpful, guys. Remember, when you're writing these, it's the why. You gotta answer the why. You got to leave the person on the other end feeling like, wow, this person is so passionate and they're deep and they're inspirational. They gotta feel something. If they read it and they don't feel anything, that's bad. So always ask yourself why. Build that throughout your papers. Make every word count. Check out my guide to writing a personal statement. And smash that sub button. Every comment, like, subscription helps a ton. Much love and appreciate you guys taking the time to watch this video. Take care, and I'll see you next time.